Check here. Hello? Anyone out there? Oh. Let's fix this first. Let's add a thumbnail on here. It's never freaking adding that thumbnail correctly. Okay. XRP dump, it seems. Let's go to customization, analytics. Let's fix this. All right, and let's do a dual stream here. Perfect. Perfect. We are live, guys. Why is everyone in crypto so obsessed about money? Because every time we see, exactly as I'm telling you guys, we are staying these ranges as long as the whales please. We went from 1.8 last night, or last few days. We literally went ahead and a huge whale dumped. And he's trading between these ranges and making easy profits on you guys. So just let that sink in. These whales, they're earning it big.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new morning update on XRP. We're going to do a full update on XRP right here. We'll talk about the current situation. We'll talk about what to expect this week. We'll talk about what to expect today.
So yeah, prices have been the same for XRP in general. They haven't changed at all. Nothing has changed for XRP if you check.
Entering the markets. You can see that that has slowly but surely disappeared, and right now the CVD is dropping down. It's not necessarily a bad thing, I'd say, but at least there's no longer the absorption that we had earlier. So spot buyers.
No, like the whales are selling off a big amount. You can't tell me otherwise. It has happened and probably will happen for the future.
Coming in, or at least passive buyers coming in, and the open interest is also back to where we were together with the price, right? So that is momentum is lost, and correlation right now to Bitcoin is also quite high. You cannot see that right here, but this is bugged for sure. So generally, it matters a lot what Bitcoin does, and Bitcoin at this point of time is at a crossroads. When we're talking specifically about XRP right here, or at least, well, specifically not, but generally, look, the key area is at $2. I think it's quite likely that we're going to move into that. And when we're talking about $2, it's a
$2 is the perfect range for XRP actually, but the whales, they keep dumping in big. Look at these sell-offs. The order book is very much so. If you look at the order book, there's people trying to hold it above, but every 10 seconds you got sales of 10K, 30K. You have huge sell-offs.
Broader area. You can see the monthly VWAP, the quarterly value area low, the 30-day rolling VWAP is all in that area between 1.98 and 2.04. So that's my general price target. And I think generally, if you look at the fundamentals. So if you look at equities, if you look at the fundamentals behind Bitcoin, I think it's likely we're going to get there. But then on the other side, we have those imbalances left at 1.86 and 1.84.
So yeah, that's what I was telling you guys. Again, another day, and every time you try to start something, every time you try to start a rally, you get like these huge whales on 2bit. That's where I'm trading right now, selling a large portion of their supply. They just don't care. They don't mind XRP. They don't care what happens to XRP. All they want is that juicy profit. So remember, these whales, they're here to make money. And if we look at the price charts over here on the 1 hour chart, it does seem like every time we build some momentum, 1.89, 1.93, we are seeing bearish outlooks where the candles are lower and lower. This is what is telling me that XRP is now on a smaller downtrend. That's right. We are seeing a smaller downtrend here. So yeah, it does seem like a downtrend is happening for XRP, at least in my opinion, because it tried to hold above 1.94 and 1.95 and whatever, but it just completely dropped from this rate. So yeah, I'm going to have to short it at this point, and I feel very confident. Maybe I'm mistaken. It's going to be a small short with a stop loss. But it tells you pretty clear here is that the whales, they're the ones that are deciding the market right now. So here, I'm opening a short for that reason.
And I think right now, given the fact that the, specifically
on 2Bit. If you guys want to join me, there's a link in the description below. But you guys understand now that I'm going to get liquidated if it goes even 5% down. I'm very confident that this is going to be a short in the long term, like further downtrend, even though we had a huge red candle. At least like building some support is likely here.
Or for XRP and not about Bitcoin. Although I just said in my Bitcoin video that I felt like it was a little bit more likely that we were going to test those imbalances to the downside first as well. But I think specifically for XRP as well, given the fact that we're losing momentum, we're capping upsides here at 50 EMA, I would still say, and I said this yesterday as well, but I still think that's the right call to make here. I think generally you should avoid trading right here, right? Because
this is what I'm worried about. I'm only trading because I'm worried where we're going to go from here. Like, this trades are super risky, but I still feel like we're going between these levels. And right now it's in super middle.
This is very much, especially this area right here, it's just incredibly choppy. And then you want to trade this area or this area. At 1.84, 1.85, we have some strong support, but that's also a respected key level historically, as you can see. And then $2, same thing. We have
and if you check my trades yesterday, I was showing you guys my trades. What we're doing on this channel, we're actually live, doing live trades, if you guys didn't know. So we had like transaction history, and we're trying to go like from $50, $80 on the live trading, the competition that I have linked down below. But you can note here that trading history is actually, we had so much choppy markets. Wherever we tried to close it, we did have some profitable trades, but most of them were red because you couldn't even understand what's happening. Look, 5%, 5%, 5%. But then we managed to open pretty good trades, 12%, 24%, even 24% trade. I miss those days. Dow start of December, 24% trade. Again, that's pretty rare to get. So I'm just waiting now. What's going to be the next key scenario? Sometimes you got to wait it out.
Resistance, but it's a respected resistance level historically. But that also means that if we can get some sort of a break above that, it's also going to be a stronger break. So avoid trading in the middle, and I would say it's more likely right here that we're first going to tap the downsides, right? So that we're specifically going to tap at least the upper imbalance that we have left right here. I believe at 1.86, 1.85. Tap that, and then as long as the fundamentals remain relatively strong, which they are right now, I would expect support there. Reclaim above the 7-day rolling VWAP, reclaim above the monthly value area low, and then a move into $2 and 2.02. And look, we're entering holiday season, so getting a sustained break above $2 seems to be a little bit of a fairy tale, but it's not impossible. I mean, if we get a lot of bullish momentum right here on Monday, if we get that spike down, strong reaction, then we still have Tuesday, full day of trading. We have Wednesday, we have a morning of trading.
There is trading happening, but you can't see it. I'm down 1% because these whales, they're doing big trades overall.
So then it is a possibility that we'll break above that. But short term, I'm just going to tell you that I think we're going to move up there. And reclaiming that depends on so many variables and factors at that point of time as well, that's a better matter to be discussed in the future. So those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know. Thank you for watching, everybody. Take care. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.
So this is what I'm seeing right now. These whales are going up and down, left and right. They're going different levels, and a lot of YouTubers don't realize what's happening. These whales have the upper hand. Whoever bought for cheap can now sell high. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking profit. Every time there's a small pump, look at this. They just dump it. 1.84 to 1.92 and dump it all the way down to 1.8. It makes no sense, right? So whoever did that, like this was maybe panic selling, but they made massive profit, like just selling everything off at these levels. So yeah, people are buying and selling at this point.
So Bitcoin moment.
Have Ripple CTO just made a shocking XRP statement, lending privacy. Again, there is things that are happening for XRP, but the things are going to be super delayed for this to make effect. Like this could take ages and time before anything happens with XRP overall.
And it comes back to major scalable use cases. This could be payments. It could be institutional DeFi. It could be tokenization. It could be anything that you can think of that would require significant scale. XRP was best suited for it. Now, in this video, we are going to go over clear confirmation from David Schwartz on exactly what to expect with XRP going forward, but also I want to go over a few things. Let's start by going back to September, because back in September, we got a big update regarding Ripple advancing institutional DeFi with lending and privacy tools.
This is the big thing. Ripple institutional DeFi. I mean, it's way, way smaller than it was before. If you can see my trade live on 2bit here that I opened, this is a big thing we have right now.
This article was written about this breakdown from Ripple's website, the next phase of institutional DeFi on the XRP ledger, credit, compliance, and confidentiality. Now, this was clear confirmation that Ripple is still heavily focused on institutional DeFi, because previous to this, we did get back in February the full roadmap of institutional DeFi on the XRP ledger. Now, if we are looking into this, we have the key highlights. So, number one, XRP Ledger has entered the top tier of institutional DeFi with over 1 billion plus.
So yeah, institutional DeFi. You hear this a lot with XRP. The issue here with institutional DeFi that I have is that it's super early. I mean, how many people actually buy XRP and look at it because it had institutional DeFi? I'm guessing not many. They're setting up for corporations at this point, and that's the only thing they're setting about. That's the thing they matter. That's the thing they want to see, corporations. That's the most important factor to them.
And monthly stablecoin volume and top 10 RWA activity. Now, they do mention credentials and deep freeze and how they're now live. This is strong compliance for institutional players. They need these two things. Now, the next big thing here is, of course, the lending protocol. Now, that is still yet to be in place. That's going to happen.
I mean, lending protocols, but the prices don't change. So these are probably the news that we're reading. The upcoming native lending protocol will unlock low-cost compliant credit markets at the protocol level, zero knowledge and development to balance privacy. Institutional DeFi has crossed the tipping point from pilot projects to billion-dollar volumes over the last years. The XRP ledger has broken into the top 10 chains for real-world assets, reached its first 1 billion a month in stablecoin volume, cemented its role settlement. I mean, it's moving, but it's moving slow. Without retail, there's no one to buy.
And most likely in 2026. And then
you can also see XRP here is having some pushback. Maybe I should have potentially kept it open, but again, the markets right now everything is screaming bearish, bearish, bearish. Even the 1 minute chart, it's just not moving, and it's making me very scared.
ZKPs, that's to balance privacy, compliance, and scalability. So when we mix all of this stuff into place, well, the XRP ledger is emerging as the leading chain for institutional finance. And yeah, it is. We're at that point where institutional players are no longer turning a blind eye to crypto. They're now...
Look, this is going to be probably another rally, so it's better if I do a full-on reversal at this point. It shows you what's happening right now is XRP is trying to push out, and then again, a whale will dump all of it.
Now embracing it. They're seeing crypto for what it is, which is a absolutely massive revolutionary technology that they could tap into to streamline internal processes, settle transactions in mere seconds at a fraction of a cost, and it's 24/7.
So look, whales are pushing it back even at 1 minute chart. Crazy. That's simply crazy. So they don't care. The whales don't care about what's happening behind the scenes, like the shocking announcement CTO makes, all the partnerships. This is what retail cares about. Whales care about making money here. That's all that crypto markets are right now, making money for these whales, which is nice to see. But again, these big partnerships are a great thing to make Ripple grow in the long term. But in the short term, the market's going to remain bearish.
Connecting going on behind the scenes. I mean, you look at these names: Citi, BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, MasterCard, State Street, DBS, Societe Generale, NASDAQ, BNY, Franklin Templeton. I mean,
these are some big names, though.
Guys, these are...
Look at this drop. Look at this drop that we're doing right now. 2.36 on 2bit. Bam. Immediately, as I told you guys, we're going to close this out on profit.
Not small-time names. And majority of these are now Ripple partners. DBS, MasterCard. I mean, a lot of people have speculated on Citi, potentially even BlackRock, maybe even JP Morgan. But we do know that, DBS, MasterCard, NASDAQ as well. There's a lot of connections between the NASDAQ and Ripple. Societe Generale, 100%. We are.
So just as I'm telling you this, guys, XRP is basically in a free fall. It's going to lose all its gains. It has further. So it seems like it further worked. No strong green candles. 5%. We're soon going to close out this trade.
We have that confirmed. BNY also confirmed.
And we closed it on a positive. See? Exactly as predicted. So now, because this was such a big red candle, we wait for the bounce back and just open a positive trade. Because, look at this. RWA lending protocol is awesome. Don't get me wrong. This is what a lot of people are waiting for. But so many people are waiting for prices and asking, why is the price not moving up? Well, there you have it, folks. This is the reason. Somehow it filled out really, really slow anyway. But
through some of these assets, XRP, I do think long-term is going to provide us with enough yield to live off of it. But we have here, crypto lending typically relies on pooled collateral and volatile rates, both of which are difficult for institutions. With the XRP ledger, each loan sits inside its own single asset vault, a segregated pool that holds only one asset, XRP, ROUSD, etc., and isolates risk to that specific credit facility. A pool admin, the underwriter or operator, manages the vault, and third-party platforms can build UIs on top. And here we have...
So yeah, they're basically going to be lending liquidity, and XRP is the one that's going to be helping. A pool admin manages the vault. Again, this is very, very niche use cases so far, but it's going to help in the future. So market makers are going to be borrowing. So you're going to be basically borrowing XRP to pre-fund instant merchant payouts. I'm guessing so you can buy yourself some capital. So a lot of people will be borrowing XRP, a lot of these companies, which is pretty big news. They can finally borrow $2 million in order to buy something and then pay it back slowly. And that's kind of crazy to me when you think about the future. You don't have to go to the banks anymore. You can go and collateralize your company or collateralize other coins.
The pool, the lending protocol into the single asset vault. And then we also have the E2E lending protocol. This is the pool admin and loan broker. This is a liquidity pool with, of course, the SAV at the bottom. Use cases include market makers borrowing XRP and ROUSD for inventory and arbitrage, PSPs borrowing ROUSD to pre-fund instant merchant payouts, fintech lenders accessing short duration working capital, and notably XRP's $124 billion market cap can finally be lent into institutional credit facilities to generate real yield instead of sitting idle. Yeah, this is a game changer. The lending protocol is going to unlock so much value and so much utility for XRP.
This is what I like to see. XRP is not doing only one thing. I think it's best if we close it here actually at 2%. 1% loss. Right now the markets are super choppy. Seems like a downturn is possible.
Now, let's talk about what David Schwartz recently said. So here we have from vet_x0. Evernorth XRP is an institutional participant in the XRP ecosystem, aiming to provide liquidity on the XRP ledger, running infrastructure, XRP validator, engage with yield protocols on XRP. Evernorth active participation to generate more XRP per share is a win-win for the ecosystem, in my opinion. Check this out.
I think an interesting institutional add to the sort of XRP ecosystem specifically, not just the XRP ledger, but XRP specifically, is Evernorth, which is a digital asset treasury company based around XRP, backed by companies like SBI.
That's what I was telling you. Treasuries, they are the big thing in crypto right now. A lot of like XRP, Solana, they all want their own treasury.
Ripple, Pantera, Kraken. And they're actively managing XRP holdings through yield generation, capital market activity. They're raising funds primarily for open market XRP purchases as a real, institutional XRP treasury. And it's going to be interesting to see what yield generation strategies they can come up with, and how successful they can be doing that. And they're going to be active participants in the XRP ecosystem. So they're not just going to be like they're not going to be just doing little financial things to optimize yield for their investors, but they're going to be participating as a validator, provisioning liquidity, integrating with DeFi protocols such as those using RLUSD. So I think it's interesting that we're going to have a new sort of institutional participant in the XRP ecosystem, and not just as a sort of financial, not just moving money around, but also like looking for solutions on the XRP ledger and within the ecosystem to generate yield for their investors.
So there we have it.
So this is going to be a long-term plan, I'm guessing, because if we check the prices here, they're going crazy down. Like, look at this. If you look my trades, I can't be positive if the markets are like that right now. It's absolutely bonkers. I should have just made a reversal and see this is the new bottom. I failed to see that. Seems like I should be shorting it more. I would be down way, way more.
And again, when we think about what's happening here, we are witnessing the shift. We're witnessing the shift. And I think that this is where we start to really see the big picture unfold for XRP. It's becoming a complete institutional powerhouse chain, on top, of course, of giving those holders a full-on view into long-term yield generation and passive income opportunities. The Be Your Own Bank statement is now becoming a reality, and it's all through this institutional stack. This institutional stack is going to provide so much liquidity, so much.
So something tells me this is like an obvious reversal when you check something like this. It's taking profit over here. Like the whales are taking lots of profit by dumping it right now. It's very obvious that the markets is going downtrend.
Value, so much utility on top of a network that already has
So yeah, XRP is just building a network. That's why you shouldn't be surprised if it drops a bit more.
So much utility and so much value tied back to it. I'm very excited about what's going to happen through this, because it's going to unlock so much more value. And on top of that, we also have over here from Token Relations, XRP has seen its institutional activity drive retail adoption. We're going to take over the world with solid financial products that solve real world use cases. This is a massive statement if I've ever seen it. And again, this is coming from prior Ripple CTO, David Schwartz.
We're going to take over the world with solid financial products that solve real world use cases. And we are actually starting to see that now enabled by things like stable coins and tokenized real world assets that let us handle these use cases like payments and like reasonable investments, tokenized money market funds and treasuries. We've actually seen more than 500,000 new wallets created by retail users.
So this is the big news. Like, look who has the most retail, and that is obviously... It's very obvious that retail is not into Bitcoin, it's into XRP. So I shall build my own trading bot for XRP now. Kind of makes sense. Minimum is $30, here's $40, but we will make a stop loss. I think 1.87 is the bottom right now for XRP. Could go to 1.8, but personally, who knows? So we're going to make a strategy. We're going to follow the strategy and let the AI do the trades itself. And do like 8x leverage. So that's going to be absolutely perfect. If we go here, go 7, it's going to be good. And create the strategy of going upwards.
through applications like Salmon. And so we're starting to see that sort of institutional activity driving retail adoption, which I think is going to be over the next year or two. I think that's going to be the dominant theme.
So if you guys want to get started with trading on me on 2bit, you can use the link in the description below to get on a free XRP competition as well that I'm doing for you guys. Obviously, I'm learning my trading journey, so I want to tell you guys, it's risky to trade, but that's what I'm doing here on this channel. I want to learn. I want to learn what's happening. You know, these trading bots, they're not teaching me how to learn, how to trade. They're not teaching me anything. So I just kind of give them, you know, like a stop loss. You can kind of play with them, but I do enjoy trading bots here in terms of like what they're doing in terms of volume. They are pretty interesting. So let's check stop. You can actually see here details and you can see what it's going to do. Is it going to buy? Is it going to sell? I'll just wait for a right moment.
We're going to take over the world.
So over the next year or two, we are going to start to see a ton of retail adoption through these major institutional players diving on in to the XRP ledger and XRP. Again, it's so clear that from, you know, everything that we've witnessed this year, we're about to witness everything around the XRP ledger grow significantly, including, of course, even the value of XRP. And it's all because core pieces are being built. They're launching as well. Back in June, they introduced the permission DEX on the XRP ledger, unlocking...
So yeah, I just opened an XRP bot that's going to trade for me. But, you know, permissionless DEX on the XRP ledger is great news. It's just that a lot of people, they're focused on the prices. They're focused on the big prizes, and that's what they want to hear. And you can see the prizes tell you the full story.
Changes the entire network.
So yeah, it is changing the network slowly. It's a lot to put into. It's a good start, but it's not what people are looking for yet in terms of what I'm seeing, like the retail. The retail is coming. It is giving them more confidence. How high can XRP realistically go? So that's something we're going to be talking about today. I have an XRP trading bot here, guys, on 2bit. Smash that like button if you have not already. But it does seem like a lot of traders want XRP to hit $15. Now, can it ever hit $15? Because we're here live trading.
Understanding the max ranges of where a cryptocurrency can go is always great. Knowing that an XRP can get to $100 price or $1,000 price and see those as some levels that may be realistic to some, but unrealistic to most, right? Because you're looking at places that no cryptocurrency has been ever. And yes, we can look at Bitcoin and say before Bitcoin got to $2 trillion, it was at 1 trillion, right? And before it was at 1 trillion, you know, it was at hundreds of billions. And before it was at hundreds of billions, it was at tens of billions, right? So every place that we hit, every new milestone that we get to is uncharted waters, right? It's unexplored, you know, area or territory.
This is the thing, like if XRP hits $4, that's new all-time highs. But it still takes time to get to there.
And I feel like we can understand that a lot of these ceilings can be broken, but understanding the prices that we can hit or levels that we can hit before those ceilings are actually broken, that's kind of where we need to live as, you know, maybe mid to short-term investors, but then also have those longer-term investments into it. So if you're looking for more recent profit or more, you know, consistent profit in the medium term, you want to have an exit plan that's...
I'll just let this trading bot run. But yeah, an exit plan is super important. I always have stop losses. That's one thing I'm doing. I'm checking the markets. You know, I want to learn where the markets go from here.
$15. So I want to look at those realistic price predictions, getting to some of those levels in the next few years, as well as, you know, the next 5 years. So before we get into this, make sure you guys hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one. Also, if you could check out some of the links down below for Twitter, Patreon, if you guys are interested in that. And if you guys want to check out my link for BTCC, I have a link down below. 300%.
So yeah, a lot of these trades, they're going up. As you can see, guys, it's now trying to form another high, which I'm going to open a very fast long here. This is the important factor. Like, obviously, if I did it correctly, this is the terrible. When you rush into a trade, when you think XRP is suddenly going to be $15, sometimes you miss out on the train and it goes backwards. That's what's happening right now in the space. The markets are not so easy to make money as they were before when XRP was going up.
400, 500%, or even get close to a 10x. Right? That's what happens when you have a lot in your portfolio and then it grows by 10 times what that value is. Of course, it's going to be the largest thing in your portfolio. I like XRP. I think it can go a lot further. It's obviously in conversations in the room when it comes to government conversations, economy conversations, all of that stuff, right? Meaning that it's going to be a major part. Ripple, XRP, everything involved is going to be a major part of the world as we move forward. So if we look at where XRP is right now, before we get into kind of what those realistic predictions are, XRP currently stands at a $1.91 price. It is down in the year by 14.35%. If we look at the month, it's down by 3%. In the week, it's down by almost 4%. And in the last 24 hours, it's down by 0.5%. We are at a $116 billion market cap. This is very far away from the peak point where you were over a $200 billion market cap and seeing upwards of $10 billion worth of volume in 24 hours.
This is the problem. A lot of people have left XRP alone. They don't want to stay in XRP waves right now. I'm a long-term holder. I'm definitely interested in learning to trade. I keep hearing that now is not a good time for beginners to jump in. Now the markets are super choppy, but anytime you can just start with a demo account. So when the markets are well, you can, welcome to the stream, Turple Nurple. When you start a stream, that's like how you can understand what's happening with the prices, what the whales are doing with XRP, which is a very important factor. Literally now what we're seeing with XRP is, yes, the markets are choppy, the markets are bad, but at least you can learn and do like a demo account. You don't even have to put any money aside because, yeah, trading is obviously very risky. It is a crazy thing.
Still, we're seeing $2.4 billion worth of volume. The fully diluted value at the current level is $191 billion for a market cap. Holders, you have 500,000 or let's say plus.
You have 500,000 holders, I'm guessing on-chain. Probably more on the exchanges itself. So it really makes me wonder. There must be a lot of holders. I'm guessing now there's more activity for XRP than there is for Bitcoin when you check at the levels that there is.
Right, because give or take, few thousands, but 500,000 holders and 60 billion coins in supply. The total I can't speak. Total supply being
You're welcome, man.
$100 billion. Sometimes my system.
So you can see here, right now, we're still far off. And, I'm doing price analysis on my channel. This is what's really important is, yeah, the markets are seriously choppy today, but it's still trading between the ranges I gave it, $2 and 1.84. It's just that this big whale caused that short momentum and I'm trying to long it when I should be shorting it. All these green candles, when you look at the 4-hour chart, I'm not too sure why am I even doing that? Because I should not be like trying to squeeze it out here. I should be the one that actually tries to see, okay, there has been a huge pump. Now whales are going to take profit.
Just shuts down. It's so funny when that happens. Because I always think of those, videos where people are really trying to get something out and it just doesn't want to come out. And your face, anyways. Let's talk about XRP here. But this is where XRP stands. Let's look at the realistic levels that it can get to. Now, if you don't know, where I believe this is going to get to. My max levels, I talk about, $100. I talk about hundreds of dollars that this can get to. And
So yeah, people are saying XRP can hit $100. It is possible in theory, but it's going to be so much harder to actually get to that. Again, it's not super easy to get to those levels.
and can and will is two different, conversations. Will it get to those levels? Well, it depends on many different things that are happening. But
One thing I'm trying to see if XRP hits $100 is also with trading bots. So like trading bots are super risky, but at least they do trades for me. So I understand how they work.
let's focus on the shorter term, right? Let's focus on a mid-term range, as well as maybe looking at something a little bit longer term, right around the 5-year mark. So realistically, XRP could reach $5 to $15 range in
I agree with that. $5 to $15 range for XRP is pretty realistic. I don't think it's going to happen this cycle, but at least
the
it's
medium
something.
term, with some predictions hitting $25 to $30 by 2030. Contingent on massive institutional adoption, growth of Ripple's on-demand liquidity services, regulatory clarity, and successful RLUSD stablecoin adoption. While extreme high targets are $100 plus, are highly speculative, requiring XRP to become a dominant global settlement asset, which always could be the case, right? Many predictions, many charts, many conversations lead from, oh, this can get to, or this will get to a level of $5 to $10. Then in the a little bit longer term of a range, it could be 25 to 30. It could be 100 plus. It could be $1,000. Really, it depends on so many things that are going to happen. And we have the prediction on whether those things can happen.
So as you can see, I keep opening and closing trades here because there's like a fee to open these trades, like 2 pennies anyway. But it's very clear the markets are so choppy right now. Whatever I do, I have to just do the opposite. XRP, Hopium, don't lose your money like I did. Welcome to the stream, Slacker. But yeah, it's XRP isn't like Hopium. There's being products built, but right now the bear, like it's 50% down still from all-time highs.
Or will happen, but still, it's still all speculation. It's not 100% that these things will happen.
We're speculating we're going $5 to $15 because there's hype, but there were plenty of projects that like crashed down when they should have went up.
But price targets have
The sheer stupidity of only $5 or $10, even $20 just amazes me. Is basic math. An example for cross-border with 60 billion circulation, you would need $17 for every trillion transaction to sell those transactions. $5 only sells 300 billion transactions. How do you handle trillions at that price? Japan still says they will be doing daily with trillion XRP alone. Also, those prices go down, and it will go down as ETFs remove XRP from the market to sell those transactions. This really doesn't get into ETF supply shock, tokenization, and derivatives. So he's saying XRP could reach $100. Yeah, but if it's not certain, it's a big risk that they really will. What if the deal doesn't come true? Like, yo, Danny King, still buying here every week. That's the thing with the markets right now. Super, super sketchy. The markets are sketchy. I'm worried, honestly, because like a lot of people say that XRP could hit $1,000 or $100. Yeah, maybe, but it's a risk. It's a big risk for a lot of these people.
Or prices have different things in mind, right? If everything doesn't happen and one thing happens, you still see a rise in price. Does it get to those higher levels? Maybe not. Maybe instead you have 10 things out of the list and 7 of those things happen, you're going to see a massive increase, but not the max level increase that you would expect. And it also depends on buyers and sellers. What are we looking to buy it for? What are we looking to hold it for? What are we looking to use it for? So there's a lot of things that factor into that. So short to medium term, 2025 to 2028, they have it predicted for $3 to $6, a common forecast, or 2025, depending on regulatory developments and market conditions. For $5 to $10, achievable targets for 2025 to 2028, and then $10 to $12.50 would be a 2027 to 2028 prediction there from TradingView, and you have CoinCub, you have Forbes, and others. Now 2030 and beyond, you have a $25 to $30 prediction.
So he's saying like 25 to 2030 that we will get $30. I think it could be before that, but it also depends on Bitcoin's prices and how much people actually use it.
Consider it plausible by 24/7 Wall Street and Prime XBT. If Ripple's global payment vision fully materializes, requiring
2034, I retire. I mean, DCA every day. 2034, that would be like pretty good. Like just if markets go up in general and we don't have a huge market crash, just imagine how much this would like be good. I'm still going to be streaming in 2034. I don't care. This is going to be like the crypto safe space. Everyone in crypto I know is so obsessed with money. So we're going to make this like a safe space stream. We have been seeing lots of drops when the markets are going to be bad. When XRP is down, I'm still going to be streaming. That's why I'm doing a 90-day streaming challenge on this channel. Because it seems like, XRP, there's tons of news about XRP, but the price is going down. Like tons of markets, but we're seeing like a downtrend. Now, the candles itself, they are getting lower. So you can see here, what does this mean, right? We were at 1.9 and we reached a new bottom of 1.889. This is on a 1 minute chart. It's hard to do these. But if we look at the 1 hour chart, bam, look at the over here. Obviously like a bottom, try to go for another breakout, a bottom. Now what will happen is a drop. So I'm very certain to short this now, XRP to short. Because what I'm seeing now with XRP is we are going to be having, like it already dropped twice. So they're basically telling the whales, that's over, that's it, right? It tells you a clear strategy of what's happening. So let's take a look here. 3% drop, sell short. Let's go for $2 and just drop it.
X or a $20 price point, I could have a 10x from where it stands here today and still be at a reasonable market cap for all of the things that are going to be established. Now, if you wanted to look at the max market cap, you can start to really break out a lot of stuff and say, oh, it's going to get to a $30, $50 price point based on this, and this.
So guys, I opened a short already, but the markets are so choppy. In theory, it should be a double bottom. We should be going more downtrend, right? Because we were rejected twice. But right now, the markets are so heavy, it hurts my heart. Like, in theory, that's what should happen. But today is just like, kind of like you're a fisherman and the markets are just very, very choppy today.
But for an investor, most investors, especially now, are going to see that target. They're going to see a $10 target and be like, that's great. Perfect enough, right? $20 target. That's great. That's fine, right? And they're going to take that. They're going to settle on that. They're going to make their gains. And then the next wave of investors is going to come in at a $10 price. Oh, I can see this at a $30 price point, and so on and so forth for those medium range investors. If you have some long term, I suggest you look at short term, medium range, and long term, and maybe even forever. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm looking at all of these things so I can factor in when I decide to sell and what high prices I'm looking for, what medium prices and what low prices, right? That's my definition. It's not a firm answer to say it can realistically go to $100. It could, but there's
going to be a big majority of people who are saying like it could go to $100. The technology is there, but you have to ask yourself, will they be able to secure that and when it will reach $100? Because a lot of people don't care if it reaches $100 in 15 years. They want their money now. And right now it's $1.9, and I think it's pretty much priced in. I think 3.66 was a bit over pushing it, but this is a pretty fair price point. And the whales tell you a clear story, guys. I'm trading on 2bit. You can join me in my XRP trading challenge that we're having live on stream. But it does seem like, from me, I'm learning that these whales are ending up dumping their XRP in the short term.
The lower you go, the more realistic you get, right? So $10 price point, definitely more reasonable. $5.
$10, I mean a 10x. Imagine if you're a millionaire, that would mean you have 10 million XRP now. It's just gonna be a hard push forward to even get to those levels. But once you get there, I mean, I would definitely be up for that. I would be happy with 10. Everyone is wrong about XRP's next move. So a lot of people are talking about XRP. Levi is one of them. XRP's next move, Tom Lee.
So Tom Lee actually thinks that Bitcoin and XRP and many other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum are more than going to double in price from where they are right now by the end of January. Now, you guys know me. I very strongly disagree with this. I think the bear market is going to continue until at least midway through 2026. And so I think it's about time that we got a different perspective and we can see if Tom Lee is actually correct or not, or if he...
Tom Lee has been mostly talking about, you know, not XRP, but about Ethereum. And he's been saying this for the last 4 months. And if you keep saying something, you know, you were permabull until now, you aren't. I feel like a lot of YouTubers were expecting a huge market pump in October. They were expecting like all-time highs. And what we got is a completely different strategy. We saw like basically the bears fighting ahead. Big price drops. You can see my position size right now is $75 and we're still crashing. So it tells me people don't want XRP anymore at this current market, because half of them are saying we are in a recession. The other half just doesn't want anything to do with XRP. Like they want to buy it, and you can see here clearly it's just a full-on mixed bag that we are seeing right now. So I'm just waiting a bit on what will happen. It does seem like that, you know, it could be a bottom or it could not be.
If he has any good points, but I don't want to take any words from him. I want to allow him to speak on this and see what he says, and then I'll kind of pick it apart and let you guys know why I disagree with what he's saying.
So yeah,
that's why I think Bitcoin can double from here by the end of January. Now, many people don't expect it because of the 4-year cycle. And that's going to be the big question. If Bitcoin breaks 125 in January, there is no 4-year cycle. Well, crypto's had a rough year. It was actually having a great year until October 10th, because on October 10th, Bitcoin was up 36% for the year. And now it's currently, I think it's like flat for the year. So it lost a lot of its gains. I'm still very optimistic because crypto still has its best years ahead. But crypto should have had a good year this year, and it was on track to until there was a liquidity crisis on October 10th. That was a bigger wipeout in terms of liquidity.
And you can see a huge bull run rally happening here, at least on the 1-minute chart. We're going to see what happens on the 5, 10, 20-minute chart at this point.
Than any event in history.
So yes, the 4-year cycle is indeed over if we're going to follow every single...
So yeah, 4-year cycle is something basically that a bull run is starting every 4 years. I think the 4-year cycle could be repeated next year, or the worst case scenario, we need to wait 4 years for another market cycle. I would be definitely concerned if we need to wait 4 extra years just for XRP to go up. It's gonna be horrible, right? But it does not seem that we are in any sort of a bear market just yet.
Previous Bitcoin bull run and bear market, we're at the end of the 4-year cycle basically, which means that we should be headed into a bear market. But another key indicator is also the moving averages. Bitcoin and XRP have both fallen below the 50-week SMA, which is a very strong indicator that we're also in a bear market. This has also happened historically every single time that we've gone into a bear market as well. So it's not just the 4-year cycle, it's also the moving averages. And yes, I think Tom Lee does make a good point about the liquidation event, the liquidity crisis, as he says, on 10/10, which wiped out a record number of liquid long and short positions during that day.
So let's take a look at what happened on 10/10. 10th of October. This was a huge drop. I think this was like when a lot of people were very happy that the market is happening. We saw like, we literally thought that the 10/10 market is gonna push crypto up. Instead, what we got is like a downwards push and a start of a bear market. That could have been the first indicator of a top. Even if people didn't want to see it, that's how it is. And that's what I'm trading on 2bit right now. I'm trading, but it's hard, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's very hard because today we are down. I don't like to, sugarcoat things, but Tom Lee has been warning us this for 4 months, has been talking about, a big market crash and correction, and then finally we can go back up.
And yeah, I think that's essentially what started the bear market, was the largest liquidation event in history. But Tom Lee seems to think that we still have a lot of liquidity in the crypto.
So I remember Levi was super bullish about the prices. I guess it's a bit different now. At least he was slightly bullish before, but now he completely turned 180.
Market, at least on the sidelines, enough to send Bitcoin trillions of dollars in market cap higher, enough to send XRP, potentially even hundreds of billions to trillions of dollars in market cap higher as well. And so I want to dive deeper into why he believes that to be the case, because frankly speaking, I don't think we have that until we have rate cuts, which will bring the liquidity. And I don't believe we're going to have that until we have a new Fed and Trump issuing those tariff dividend stimulus checks, as he's been talking about, which are once again all coming midway through 2026. So why does Tom Lee think it's going to happen in January? I think that's a fantastic question, and well, let's hear what he has to say about that.
Historically, when there's a lot of skepticism, stocks can rise. In fact, markets actually peak on good news. They don't peak when people are bearish. Markets peak when everyone's bullish, and it no longer responds to.
And guess what? Everybody was bullish, and now people are starting to doubt. I even noticed in my chats online that there's a lot of people starting to doubt about the bear market. They're saying, okay, I hope everything goes back up.
Good news. Just like markets bottom on bad news. And I think many people are skeptical, but stocks have risen. It doesn't really mean markets are shrugging off the concerns. That's one way to interpret it. My other interpretation is, there is a wall of skepticism. And I mean, maybe that's just it is like, maybe we're just talking about the same sides, just of the same thing. And, but like if someone asked me, is it worrisome? I was a technology analyst in the 90s, so I covered wireless stocks starting in 93, and I witnessed the bubble that was created, a decade in the making, really 2 decades in the making. And by 99, not only was there no skepticism, there was excessive entitlement. Investors were expecting stocks to do explosively.
Kind of see the pattern here. People were hoping XRP hits $5, $10 this cycle. Remember when people were calling and now they're begging back for $3?
And, a 20% upside wasn't satisfactory, and valuations were already elevated and expanding. So I'd say that if I was trying to compare this to the bubble of the 90s, and, and wireless was a central cast character in that internet infrastructure build, where I don't really see the echoes of that today. In 2020, the price of oil went negative, right? I mean, oil is the most liquid commodity in the world, and it traded at a negative price. These glitches happen in all markets, but it does happen in crypto because it's a gigantic place where people are trying to experiment and create, what they view as free from censorship and interference. But of course, every event's going to bring something new, and you're 100% right. It's terrible that it happened. But again, I remembered oil was negative, and people actually were able to buy negative oil. they were paid to like take oil.
I guess I'll wait for a negative stock price.
I'd love the opportunity to get negative stock. Remember bonds? Corporate bonds had a negative yield in Europe. You were actually paid to own, like an issuer was paid to issue a bond. I think is small caps, because there is real earnings growth now coming, but there is no money flows. So small caps are a whole group that professional investors can afford to ignore because no one else is buying them. You know, the amount of active money in small caps is like at record.
This is why altcoins are probably crashing, in my opinion. A lot of people don't want to hold them altcoins at this point. Like, they'd rather prefer a big one like XRP.
Flows. I think financials are also dramatically undervalued, Scott, because, well, this is where we could be wrong. But in my view, I think the financial sector is actually becoming a tech sector. That as money is becoming more digital and as AI implementations are heavily taking place in financial services, it's going to make it's creating an advantage for the companies who issue capital. And companies like JP Morgan probably, as we just discussed earlier, could really dramatically reduce their dependence on humans, which is their largest expense. So I think financial companies are increasingly going to look like tech companies, and their multiples may become more like tech multiples. So that to me is one group that in the future could have a 30 PE, even though they used to trade at 10 times earnings. I was first called a permabull in 2009. And in fact, it was major newspapers that were using it as a mocking term. Here's what's interesting. 16 years later, what was the right call to be? And yet today, if I had to say what proportion of investors are bullish versus bearish, it's really risen in the last year. In fact, it's kind of close to the 2009 levels. I think people are already betting on the fact that we're in a bear market. Many people were convinced of that in 2022 because of the Fed hikes, and they just never changed their views 3 years later. What made people a lot more bearish is also because President Trump is a very unpopular president. He's a very divisive figure. I'm a registered independent, so I have never tried to let politics be involved in how I view markets, but I can't help notice that I think that political lens plays into many of our clients' views around markets, that they tend to view. When Biden was president, there were a lot of people who were critical of Biden. I thought the economy, I've cared about the economy. I thought the economy was fine. I think the economy's still doing fine under Trump. So that's kept me, I use that as one level of coding that I think has kept people bearish. But, you know, I think America is, as long as it's a place of innovation, and we are because we're at the center of AI, I think it's pretty bullish. But you guys have raised the key point. I mean, there's a chance that this AI is a disaster for labor markets. And if it is,
I don't think it's going to be a disaster. It's already proven. Like, yes, AI did destroy a lot of jobs, don't get me wrong, but it has always proven to actually speed up a lot of jobs. Video production, editing, all of these jobs that took hours and hours, even market analysis, they are the ones, like, AI has really saved a lot of things. This might be a hot take. Like, a lot of people don't agree. This is what we see right now.
the U.S. will be the least scathed, but everyone's going to go down.
So I think the most important thing to note with Tom Lee is he has a lot of thoughts, but not a lot of facts all of the time. Like, he will look at some charts like the PMI indexes, and he'll look at other certain, economic factors, but he likes to ignore, I think, the most important things so that he can continue his perma-bull mentality. And to be completely fair to Tom Lee, if you have investment horizon of wanting to hold for 15 years and you're looking at XRP and you think 15 years from now it's going to be higher than now, so who cares what happens in the short term, that is completely respectable. But I think most people that invest into XRP are looking at the next couple of years. Like, is XRP...
I feel like a lot of, people are looking in the next, 2 years. Like, maybe 3 years, but maximum 1 year. Oh, what's going to happen in 1 year? Okay. We're gonna go up. Okay, let's do that. That's how simple they want it to be. They don't want to look, okay, XRP is gonna be $10 in, I don't know, 10 years. They will just put it in a stock market.
Going to go from $3 per coin to below $1 per coin? And then when is it going to start rising again? Because a lot of people want to load up very heavily off of those major dips. And the most prevalent and the most strong argument for the fact that we're in a bear market is, number one, we've declined more than 35% from our all-time highs, which we had in July for XRP. And the markets have been showing a ton of weakness. We are unable to reclaim higher highs. We're unable to reclaim higher lows. It's just a consistent lower low, lower high on the way down, which is once again a really strong indicator of a bear market. And furthermore, Tom Lee completely ignores the fact that Japan is actually raising their rates and implementing quantitative.
Well, the thing with rate rises, again, I'm trading on 2bit, but I kind of saw this happening for a long time. A lot of us did, and even people were telling, hey, Japan is going to rise rates. Hey, Japan is going to rise rate. So a lot of the big banks, they were already prepared to do that. They were already prepared for Japan to have like bigger rates. And that's why you shouldn't be that much afraid on this happening. Like, yes, is it a problem? Yes, but it's not as a big problem as people think of, at least not like at the moment. And obviously see, like, good thing we had a stop loss, because this is what's happening right now. You know, if this was truly bad, it would crash like 20-25% in the market.
Tightening in a period of time where the US,
I think it's pretty positive that it's trying to hit 1.9 to say that. And I'm hoping it's going to do more than that. I'm hoping if we open another long here, that would be absolutely amazing. Like, that's what we can do. We can just open a long and see what happens on 2bit. If you guys want to join me, link down in the description below. Obviously, I really appreciate it, guys. But we have more of that. Like, XRP repriced, it's actually much higher. I mean, when I check the prices over here, that means I would be up, right? But I'm massively down on these trades because the market is really chunky right now. It should have been up, but it's not.
XRP's price isn't discovered, but it's revealed. What if the market you're watching right now is just theater? While
I mean, if it's theater, if the prices are truly theater, if the big corporations and retail were in, obviously they would go to the exchange and buy. Yes, some of them bought over the counter, but the price we're seeing right now for Bitcoin is the actual price what people think of the market. And this is why you have to love crypto. People can love, oh, we love XRP, but if XRP is at 1 penny, this doesn't matter. It shows you that a lot of people don't believe in the project anymore and the utility it could have behind it. It's one of the few that actually is backed by something. And you can see here, like, it is crashing very fast downside.
real number has already been agreed on behind closed doors. Today, we're talking about XRP's reprice and why the signals are no longer. So let's start right here because you know what? This piece of news, it sounds boring. I get it.
So yeah, I opened a trade over here on 2bit, guys, as well, just to see what happens with XRP today. So I'm really hoping it goes up. I'm really hoping, guys, but honestly, it doesn't look good. It seems like it's further pushing towards downtrend. Every rally we have is like a further low. So this does seem like a reversal at this point. But obviously, then you have a few green candles. We haven't fully closed out at 1.9 yet. We're at 1.9029. Who knows?
But it isn't. The U.S. House just drafted a bill to exempt crypto and stablecoin transactions under $200 from capital gains taxes. That's not a tax tweak, right? That is a behavioral change mandate because capital gains taxes, it kills payments. Nobody can use an asset daily, even like to buy a coffee, because it's going to create a taxable event. The bill.
Didn't they say that XRP don't quote me on this, but the US government wanted to do US based companies, crypto companies, 0% tax. That would be a big thing, wouldn't it?
Quietly says that crypto is not just an investment anymore, that crypto is actually money. And when governments change rules around spending, they're preparing infrastructure, not speculating on price. So ask yourself, why now? Why payments? And why thresholds that match real world usage? Because something is coming out of the investment phase and into circulation, which brings us to this. The XRP price is predetermined. This is where this video is going to get uncomfortable, right? So the CEO...
Yeah, Black Swan Capitalist CEO claims XRP price is predetermined. I mean, if it was like 100% certain, you could just take a trade on 2bit. Link in the description below, guys, anyway. But jokes aside, if it was predetermined, wouldn't you think like, okay, now I'm going to take a huge position and long it or short it?
Black Swan Capitalist, he made a claim that most people laughed at, and then immediately it tried to go away, to get buried, right? He said that XRP's price is predetermined, not guessed, not speculated, agreed upon. He compared XRP to a pre-IPO asset where institutions know the valuation long before retail ever gets to see it. And according to him, your central banks, they already adopted XRP quietly years ago. Critics say if that was true, though, that the markets would show it. But here's the conspiracy part on this. What if the point was to suppress volatility until you're in?
I'm not too sure about that. So I just think the whales honestly dumped because they saw as a way to make money. That's why they sold their XRP for pennies.
Infrastructure was ready. Markets don't reflect the truth. Remember that. They reflect permission. But here's the interesting part, and this connects everything. Smoke dropped it. XRP and XLM will most likely have a set fiat value in the future to enable global money transfers. Now think logically here. No global payment rail can function if its settlement asset fluctuates widely. Banks do not hedge chaos. They avoid it. A fixed reference value, even with a band, it turns a crypto asset into financial plumbing. This isn't about moonshots. This isn't about utility at scale. And once an asset transitions from a speculative asset to systemic, well, your price discovery, it stops being public. It becomes negotiated, which gets us over to this clip because your market makers died and nobody replaced them. Remember the event that occurred October 10th? I do. Well, your macro investor who you see on your screen, Jordy.
30% market makers went on businesses during 19 billion crypto liquidation in October. He says even retail and macro funds are too scared to buy Bitcoin here because the chart looks terrible until we recover above 92K. I mean, this is a plausible theory. Whales don't want to buy. Nobody wants to buy. So what's happening right now is we're just playing the waiting game, really.
He dropped the bomb. He said he believes that 30% of your market makers were wiped out during that $19 billion crypto liquidation. That matters more than price because market makers, they create liquidity. Without them, your price becomes thin, jumpy, and easily controlled, right? Retail scared, macro funds, they're sidelined, and Bitcoin looks ugly below $92,000. And in environments like this, well, price doesn't reflect demand. It reflects the absence, which is exactly why a repricing event happens quickly. Listen.
30% or approximately 20 to 30% of all market makers went out of business from that fall off in October. Whether or not the number is right or not, I'm just going to take Mike for his word and just say the event of October was a big deal. And now we have no retail buying because the chart's horrible. And until the chart's positive, macro funds that trade it and retail is not going to be involved. So you need that to turn positive. That's the 92,000 thing. And that number matters more than just a technical thing. It's also unchanged for the year. So I think once we get back above it, I think it's an important thing.
Interesting, right? But that brings us over to what Brad Garlinghouse said not too long ago, because this is where the mask slips. BlackRock's Build Fund and VanEck's VBuild tokenized funds now allow 24/7 redemption all through Securitize, redeemable into RLUSD. and ETH. And soon, it's going to be RLUSD on the XRP ledger. This is enterprise-grade liquidity. This is not retail DeFi games, everyone. When your world's largest asset managers, when they build redemption rails, they're not experimenting. They're deploying. And tokenized funds, they require predictable settlement. You don't plug unstable assets into trillion-dollar pipes, which brings us over to this, not related to XRP, but absolutely massive, because VanEck filed an AVAX ETF. I told you before, if your asset has ETFs, and especially an ETF of this.
So yeah, XRP is one that have ETFs. I know I zoned out a bit on this one because there's a lot to process. VanEck has filed for AVAX ETF. I mean, more and more crypto companies are going to be dependent on XRP if itself are going to be dependent on going to. So listen to me, they're going to be going to different places, like they're going to go for ETF volumes instead than other stuff that we have right now. So just let that sink in. AVAX ETF was long time coming. Solana ETF, these are the ones that people have been asking for.
That your institutions are no longer afraid of just non-Bitcoin utility-driven chains. The door is open. The stigma is gone. Once one utility asset gets approved, the argument against others, it collapses, especially ones that are already embedded in payments, compliance, and liquidity rails, which gets us over to David Schwartz. This is an interesting clip, and this is probably the last time we're going to see David Schwartz speaking as your CTO.
So yeah, he's retiring as a CTO, guys, if you didn't hear. He's had enough of the stress. Is it good sign? Is it bad sign? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I think he was good for Ripple. He brought Ripple through a lawsuit. He worked on Ripple for 13 years. So he did some stuff great. But then you have these big drops that we're seeing right now for XRP. We're seeing some big drops and nothing can be done to stop it. He already built the company. He should enjoy his bag, honestly.
Of Ripple. Because he explained in here that the XRP ledger isn't just about payments anymore. That it is the full financial operating system. You got on-chain smart logic, a built-in DEX with auto bridging, escrow, multi-sig compliance tools, a decentralized identity, tokenized real-world assets, carbon credits, and a loyalty system, and cross-chain.
So yeah, all of that on Ripple chain before it even launches. They're preparing for the launch off.
Bridges with Solana just getting implemented. That's not a crypto chain, folks.
Good sign his work is done. I think so too. I think he just got, worried. Like, at some point, he's literally a multi-millionaire. He has like millions of dollars of XRP, and he can't even enjoy life. Let the guy rest, right? He's done so much for Ripple, like no other CTO could. Or maybe he wants to try a new project. If you do something every day for 13 years, obviously he's probably burned out from the space.
That is financial infrastructure. And guess what? Infrastructure doesn't care about hype. It cares about stability.
I don't think you even do it because of money at that point. Like, he's a multi-millionaire from Ripple alone. So he's probably something else. Like, he's definitely wants to build something great and just burned out. But I definitely agree here. I hope the next CTO for Ripple is going to be great as well. Ripple never had problems picking bad employees. Like, they were always pretty much perfect and spot on. They pick best of the best. They have over 700 employees.
Predictability and governance. Listen.
Things that the ledger can do other than tokenization or transfer of funds. From someone named Tomasi, if you have any thoughts on that.
I think, they're going to be financial use cases. They're going to be things like loans. I think one of the most interesting things is what Stephen mentioned, which is things that provide some sort of yield. One of the things that's really missing in the blockchain space right now is like rational, sensible investments, like the way that you would have a retirement fund or the way that you would have, the way that you would store your money. And I think particularly internationally, in the United States, we're a little bit overserved. We have so many investment options, but there's a lot of places in the world where there aren't great investment open options. And so I think these types of things like tokenized treasuries, tokenized money market funds, I think there's a tremendous market for them. I think even things like NFTs, which kind of,
The reason with NFTs is they just didn't offer enough value to the buyers. Like, why would you even hold NFTs? Doesn't make sense to anyone.
Gotten a little bit of a bad rap because they've been used for not that there's anything wrong with collectibles. I mean, collectibles is a huge market, but it's not really a financial use case. But I think around income generating assets, around things that are investable assets, I think those types of use cases are interesting too. So I think you can think about all of the things that people do in the financial system. I think, particularly things around loans and yield generation and payments, trading. I think you're going to see people using blockchains over the next couple of years for all of those kind of core financial use cases. I think it's going to be pretty disruptive to the traditional financial system.
What a way to go out. It's going to be pretty disruptive to the
So yeah, who knows? It's going to be disruptive, but it's probably going to be, in my personal opinion, in the next cycle in 4 years. Doesn't mean it's going to be disruptive now. So let that sink in.
traditional financial system, which brings us back to the reprice, right? Look at Bitcoin's chart and let's piece this thing together, because Bitcoin, it's sitting inside of a descending broadening wedge, a structure. It's broken.
This is the good pattern here. So yeah, whales are slowly accumulating. Some of the whales are buying, but we must not need some really bad news, because if we get really bad news, it's going to look bad. And you can bet the whales will try to sell everything off.
These utility assets we always have during these bull cycles. And if Bitcoin doesn't get a parabolic blow off top, and if 125 was the top, your correction is going to be less to the downside, because
this is true. If you bought Bitcoin here 2023, it's just going to keep building up momentum as long as we don't have a huge market crash. That's what I'm doing on 2bit today. I'm seeing the markets, but the markets, and today I'm trading on 2bit, which I have been doing a trading challenge. It's been an absolute, crazy thing. If you want to join me on the XRP trading challenge as well, I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll just draw now this. Oh, no draws available. Maybe next time. But you can obviously see the markets right now are pretty choppy. They're going down bad. Here's where I could take like a long position. But again, if I would take this long position, you don't want to catch the falling knife, because there's plenty of whales who would love to sell this off, right? At this point. So XRP game set, stage set, game over.
ETF inflows are skyrocketing right now, but the price of XRP seems stuck in the mud. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what is going on and whether or not what we're watching right here is classic market manipulation. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone.
So what it really is, I kind of agree, market manipulation. Let's talk about that. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Market manipulation means like the price isn't like fully revealed, or something like about the price is hidden, or it's... What's the definition of manipulation? Definition of manipulation. So the definition of manipulation is the action of manipulating something in a skillful manner, the action of manipulating someone in a clever or unscrupulous way, and manipulate, handle, or control in a skillful manner. So this is what the whales are doing. They're handling us in a skillful manner indeed.
Everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel, these two simple things are?
I kind of agree with that.
Are nothing more than tests. Tests for something that will later be developed in a much bigger way in the coming years. A great example of this, I think, is the early internet days. You had things like LimeWire and Napster, things that were very early to the internet revolution, but things that didn't necessarily have the staying power because they weren't properly ran projects, they didn't have the right people, they didn't have the connections, they were doing things that were sketchy, ultimately in the light of the law. They were good companies. They had good products. They were extremely early to the revolution, but they didn't really win out because they didn't really build things in a way that was really going to attract the vast majority of users later down the road. And if you go look at the early internet companies, what you'll notice is, yeah, a lot of companies did have a little bit of a head start on Google. Had a little bit.
I mean, XRP literally had 13-year head start, 15 years. I kid you not, guys. They had 15 years before we had all of this good news happening. So they had 15 years to prepare. This is why they're doing so much better. Obviously, the prices on 2bit, they aren't perfect, but it tells you what needs to be heard.
Bit of a head start on Amazon. But these weren't the companies that won because they didn't necessarily do things the right way. A lot of these companies who were very early really focused a lot on the end retail user, right? How can an end retail user get a whole bunch of music for free and get around all the copyright laws, right? How can an end user be able to go get anything they want on the internet, legal or not? A lot of people really subscribe to the ethos of these companies, but ultimately, it's just not the companies that won out at the end of the day, because they weren't doing things in line with how the regulated system was going to operate. And one of the things I've talked about a lot on this channel is my favorite reason why XRP and Ripple really put themselves ahead of the rest of the industry. And that's that they look at the cryptocurrency industry extremely differently. Rather than focusing on, right, an end user downloading in a wallet and playing around in these different applications and doing meme coins and all this other stuff, right? Ripple's
The
always looked
markets,
at
the markets are definitely changing, if you ask me. Like, for sure, this is going to be another wave, but no more of talking about meme coins. Meme coins are gone. A lot of people are moving on from meme coins. They want to do other stuff than meme coins at this point. And it kind of makes me wonder, where's the bottom, you know?
things completely differently. Well, the entire cryptocurrency industry went directly to the end user. Ripple said, let's go to the
Ripple wants to work with the banks, and we're basically entering a free fall here.
financial institutions. Ripple saw what happened at the internet and knew you could get a lot of traction going to direct to user. But that wasn't going to be the thing that drastically changed the way the internet worked. Just like with what these other cryptocurrency companies and projects are doing, might be impactful, but isn't going to change the way value moves in the real world. When you look at the way value really moves in the real world, it's not necessarily retail. Most of it is large financial institutions, companies, and businesses moving money for their clients.
This is where the real money comes in for the big clients, not for the retail. Because the retail is maybe $100. Whoa, what a tag. What do you mean by that? So yeah, it seems like XRP did seem quite a crash right now.
The people they represent and
Welcome to
for
the
the
stream.
masses all around the world.
Game
it's not
over.
necessarily that specific person, right? Typing in a specific Fed wire code or going in. In many cases, they can't even do it because it doesn't make sense for them to take on those activities. The truth is the vast majority of
Oh yeah, I see it now here. State said game over. I'm still thinking what the game over actually is. Because the game over here right now, what we're seeing with the game over is that it's going to take more time. As long as XRP keeps falling down, I saw it now, my bad. We are seeing that XRP really doesn't change for that matter.
people
I
just
agree,
want
yeah.
systems
Welcome to the
that
stream.
work. But
Thor's
businesses
hammer
and
system.
corporations are constantly
blue
looking
show.
for things that open up new product segments, better innovation.
Welcome to the stream. But yeah, XRP stage is set. Very bullish about Ripple's pilot with MasterCard, noting it gives a Ripple MasterCard a first mover advantage over rivals like Visa's Ethereum pilots or Solana Shopify ties. Compliance claims it ties directly to XRP demand. I mean, Ripple MasterCard first mover advantage over rivals. Like, I mean, this is going to be the battle of the whales of the big companies, whoever comes in first. That's why I'm just waiting it out on what's exactly is happening. And it does seem like XRP right now, it's very hard to predict the current prices. That's why I haven't been trading. But so far, it does seem like we are in a downtrend. And we could be going in a further downtrend itself.
The space. Ralph Kahneman said ETF monthly report is very bullish about Ripple's pilot with MasterCard, noting it gives Ripple and MasterCard a first mover advantage over rivals like Visa's Ethereum pilots or Solana's Shopify pilots due to the compliance advantage. Claims ties to XRP demand as well. Now, what does this mean and why is it such a big deal? Well, for me, it confirms something that was a big thesis of mine, right? My thesis, my idea was that Ripple's goal to build this stuff in regulated environments, right? Find out what financial institutions need, incorporate that into the blockchain, and then roll out product sets that are going to be appetizing based off of the risk and compliance those financial institutions were looking for, was going to be a lot more important than just blindly building something and expecting those financial institutions to bend the knee.
I kind of agree with that. XRP is nice. I like it too. But it has, you know, it's trying to build all these things at once, but we're not really seeing the institutions come in yet. Like XRP is like, oh, look, we have an awesome product. But then the awesome product, you know, months pass by and nobody comes out. Yes, there's partnerships at works, but it's going to take a long time to actually see anything here.
To the decentralized code base out there, right? My thesis was Bank of America will love to get into blockchain one day, but they're not going to sacrifice compliance to do so. And if at the end of the day, they have the choice between two different projects they're going to build on, one project that has the tools they need to get sufficiently involved, and another product that doesn't, they're not going to have a choice, and they're going to have to move forward with the product that solves their compliance needs. While the rest of the industry really made fun of Ripple for doing this, I just always looked at it as the right way to do things. All the one-off retail deals, they don't matter in the long run. What matters is if you are conquering the largest pools of value on Earth. And to do that, you need to have the tools that they need in order to service their clients.
So they're saying another 2.5x video. I mean, you guys gotta realize 2.5x is like $5 for XRP. The whale, what true story, XRP has been manipulated for the last 5 years. I mean, the lawsuit didn't help. It's been a problem. But then again, I'm trying to take XRP 2-bit trades. Link in the description below if you guys want to join me. It's just catching a falling knife, and that's why I want to stop my trading bot. It hasn't even started yet. It's wants to trade between 2.8 and 1.68. So it wants to trade between these two price ranges, right? But it's not going to trade until it goes up.
Will always walk the other direction. And I've always been adamant that that direction was the right direction to walk, even though it wasn't always sexy at times with meme coin volume and total transactions. I really had this thesis that over the long run, that wasn't going to matter.
So it wants to like buy at 1.82 and 1.77 and sell at 1.797, 1.2.30, 2.08. So that would be nice. But again, if we see these type of crashes, it's going to be hard to see where we go from here. So I'd rather go neutral, completely neutral XRP grid bot, and just say, hey, we're going to go in between these two ranges. Kind of makes sense, right? And then just give it the full power it deserves. Bam. And let's create a trading bot here. And you can actually see when is it going to trade properly. So you can see it's going to trade between 182, 177, 172, 168, 192, 197. So just, you know, the trading bots we have right now, the ones we're building, it's in very early stages.
Because it didn't.
But hopefully they can make us some money. And again, this is super risky. Hopefully we can take a look at that and be like, hey, we're neutral. Let's do well, right? It's gonna be the future plan. I'm really hoping that's what will happen.
It didn't matter how many clients Napster had in the very early days. Guess what? Ultimately, Google came in and ate their lunch because they did things the right way. I think doing things the right way.
Yeah, so this is the good part. Like, there's not much competition. Oh, yours is custom, like the bot. That's awesome, man. If you use 2-bit. I'm also going to build a custom bot in the future to do the 2-bit trades. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is XRP is going to be the first one out there. And this is where they win, just like Google. That's where I'm hopeful of.
is far more important, especially with
So yeah, we're doing a challenge right now on 2bit. You guys can join me. I have a XRP like competition as well, free XRP if you do like trading volume. So that's the challenge I'm doing right now is I'm trying to go up with the trading bot, and if it's 1.7, we're going to do the stop loss. Because even if, you know, XRP is the first, we could expect a bad scenario.
when you also have a ton of traction like Google, like Ripple already do. With that said, I want to move on and talk about something else towards the end of this video because I think it's really important. I'm getting a lot of questions on it. Right now, we are watching a 6-week green inflow streak to XRP in the neighborhood.
So this is the good news. Like ETFs are the ones that are really doing good right now.
Of $1.2 billion into XRP via these ETFs. Absolutely phenomenal results. But a lot of people are looking at this and asking, why is the price not moving? Why is the price so stuck? It doesn't make any sense. And guys, I just want to share something with you. We just got this report that the new CFTC chairman is stepping in and is going into his office with the initiative to send crypto market structure legislation to President Trump's desk. It's so insane to me that people...
That's actually a pretty good plan I'm seeing. My XRP plan is right now, it's going to trade between these two ranges, 1.8 and 2.0. I'm using the 2-bit one because they're easy to set up. So 2.0 and 1.8. And between them, it's just trading between these ranges, right? So it kind of makes sense. I kind of like this. Emergency makes total sense. I feel like if we're 1.5 for XRP, you might as well go down to 1.4 or 1.3. But overall, it kind of makes sense on what it's doing.
Well, think that this isn't something that the entire institutional crowd is paying attention to. What people want you to think is that, no, this isn't going to happen. Price is going down. We're in a bear market. Sell out of your crypto. Ignore all the bullish fundamentals you're seeing. Ignore the fact that the United States is about to become the cryptocurrency capital of the world.
I mean, this is the bullish part, but they were promising a lot of stuff, a lot of improvements, and we still haven't seen them yet, as of yet.
Ignore the fact that the XRP ETF is bringing in billions of inflows, and yet
they're bringing millions of inflows, and also outflows. So millions is the big factor. Again, we got to consider that.
To have an outflow day. Ignore the fact that the SEC, OCC, and CFTC are all pushing pro-crypto legislation. Ignore the fact that every large financial institution out there is now incorporating cryptocurrency into their business, right? Ignore all this stuff because the price is going down. To me, it is the most obvious head fake of all time. There was a little bit of a drought, right? Trump got into office and it was all this very bullish cryptocurrency talk. And then there was the government shutdown and the tariffs, and it just seems like everyone lost sight of that. And the reason people lost sight of that was because the market was going down. But it's important to realize that
the reason why people stopped buying it is because people just lost confidence. This is the main plan of why people didn't want to buy anymore, is they did not trust the product. When you don't trust the product, what's going to happen is you don't want to buy it.
The size of these markets today are still relatively small and can easily be pushed around by players in the industry who might want you to be focusing a little bit more on price than what's happening in the fundamentals. In my opinion, it could not be more.
So I'm going to open another one with actual stop loss here, 2.5, and create a short strategy, 2.8, 2.9. This is a perfect strategy. So we're going to have these two run. All right, this one is already in negative somehow, so I might not have that one
obvious
open.
That this is a simple quick look that way, so we can do this, and then we can get in, and then you can figure out how you missed it. To me, it could not be more obvious than that.
I mean, there's also a lot of negative info that we have currently. We also had the terrible price news that XRP Japan interest rates are up. We had, the start of less investor confidence. So you could take both sides on it, and that's the most important factor. So there's multiple basically edges to this story.
That's happening. It's so funny to me that at the same exact time, you have the United States literally jumping 2 feet into crypto and saying that this is going to be one of the most dominant markets that essentially exists in the financial system today. It's so interesting to me at that same exact time, there's talks of a bear market, talks of a sell-off, price going down, but not really going down, sort of just bleeding off a little bit, but staying at support. It just shows me that it's a huge head fake, right? It's just huge thing to try to get you out prior to these big things happening. And to me, it's no coincidence that this is happening at the same exact time you're getting all of this bullish stuff. I think a lot of people see this as their last ditch effort to shake people out and get themselves positioned. They see the legislation coming, they hear the talks, and for them, it's like, hey, we get one more chance to try to cause one big dip and get people out. And I think we've already seen a large portion of that. I just think so many people...
So there's a lot of negative news that I would say other than positive, and this is what I'm worried about. If there's only positive news, we would be seeing Bitcoin at 200,000 right now. You got to also consider the negatives. I'm up like 10 cents already.
Are missing the forest through the trees. They're not understanding the transformational shift that's happening here, and they're too focused on what the market manipulators want you to focus on. If you're staring at a candle going down 2% week after week, you lose sight of the fact that that doesn't matter if the United States is about to be turned on as the crypto capital of the world, right? Those financial institutions, they know it doesn't matter, but they know people react heavily to it. I just don't want people to think that this is all a coincidence, that the market's selling off right before we have every single major political group in the United States essentially championing crypto and pushing it through the most regulatory, important bodies to get crypto integrated into the financial system. I think if you somehow think that that's going to cause a bear market, you're not seeing the bigger picture, and you're thinking exactly what the financial institutions want you to think, which is...
I feel like, yeah and no. Like, retail realizes that a lot of the news is priced in. So I wouldn't 100% realize with this video. I know that this, like, you have 50% of YouTubers talking how good the markets are and 50% how bad it is. Let's go check the trading bots now, and I'm going to build a custom one for XRP. It's very important to say that trading is much better if you learn for yourself, because I don't even understand the fundamentals right now of where XRP could go. But I'm very confident that I have mastered, in my personal opinion, support levels. If you guys want to get started, there's a link in the description below for 2bit as well. So we have 1.87, lowest price, 1.87 USDT, and highest price of $2. And we're going to have a grid quantity of about 3% at this point. So it's going to be like three grid quantity. So we're going to hopefully see XRP go up at that matter. Let's go $40 grid bot. I'm going to invest $40 margin. We can do 40. With what it could be 7x leverage. So at least we built some type of trading bot. We could start with $20 just because it's our one of the first, and we will also have a maximum price and a minimum price, like a trigger. So start immediately, price trigger, trigger now, price trigger, maximum price, minimum price, and we can create the strategy now. So you can see the end, the maximum price, and end the minimum price. So as soon, we're going to have a stop loss. As soon as this bot goes over XRP yearly minus 22%, it's pretty bad. But when you look at other meme coins, they are doing much, much worse. So we're going to stop the loss at 1.87 as soon as the price hits 1.7. In my opinion, I think that's over. That's done. So now we can actually check the candlesticks and see what did we buy, what did we make. Did we make a true Frankenstein? Did we make a monster? What's here? You can have here the price range is going to be 1.87 to a range of 2. I think XRP, and again, I got to fix this bot a bit because I don't like that. It actually should be 1.8 to range 2. So that's the first mistake I made. But it's also that it only has one buy order at 187, and then it's going to sell at $2. It needs to be way, way more than that. I want it to be way more active, and that's exactly what I'm going to make with this bot. So we're going to make a masterpiece, guys, on 2bit here. So the lowest price it's going to buy at, it's 1.75, and the highest price it's going to buy at is 2.5. The grid quantity of how many times it will buy will be 50. So if you check other coins, the big issue here is, you know, you have a lot of these projects who never went up at all. So we can actually do margin over here, and we can do many grid trading bot strategies. Profit per grid will be about 1%, but we will have many, many, many of these. Makes total sense. Bam. So let us check on what's happening right now. And we can create this strategy. We can even make 12 of these. And if you have more volume, what you basically have is now a trading bot strategy. Now it's going to make a lot of grids out there. It's going to start buying and selling these during these price ranges. Bam. That's what we're seeing right now. XRP slowly but surely going up. And if it ever hits 165, we'll have a stop loss. So this is what I created. This is our strategy for XRP. If you guys didn't realize, this is going to be the key strategy is, yeah, once it reaches 1.87, it's going to buy XRP. It's going to buy at 185. It's going to buy at 1.82, 18, 170, 175. And then it's also going to be buying at 1.92 or selling at 1.92 and 199, because I don't think personally we're going to see, if you look on the 4-hour chart, I don't personally think we're going to be seeing like 2.65 at all soon. But I could be wrong, and my strategy could be dumped hard, right? But everything is showing towards like the markets right now just going sideways, sideways, sideways. So why not take this time and create this Frankenstein, create this beautiful monster that's going to make us some profit, at least hopefully. That's the strategy right now, guys. So it's at 1.88, used to be like that. If it drops below 1.75, 1.65, it doesn't matter because it means we are in a bear market. So yeah, it makes total sense to do it like this, in my honest opinion. Worst case scenario, if the XRP drops, if the XRP goes up, we are kind of screwed. But we do have a stop loss in that way. I will keep you guys more updated on this one as well. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let's see one more. XRP price is set. Game over. Let's see this one. XRP crypto bull trap exposed. Lots of XRP videos today. There's so much news for XRP overall. All XRP holders, 2026 is basically over. 2026 has been brutal for me. Hopefully this trading bot will make me some money. Again, not guaranteed, super risky. So don't do what I do on 2bit. But if you want to get started and learn, link in the description below. Let's check this video out. All XRP holders, 2025 is basically over. How is 2026 looking? And if you guys look, I'm in a 7 cents profit. Yippee. unpaired, right? I'm in a small profit because I opened these trading bots. Again, trading bots are a bit stupid. Why? Because if you know how to trade, you don't need trading bots. Like, trading is the core to learn everything, to learn price analysis.
All right, fellow XRP holders, let's talk about 2025 for XRP. In fact, you can see the chart here. The net number for the last year for XRP is right here on the left, down 15%. Okay. And that really is the story. It was overall not a great year for XRP. I mean, we had some nice highs and lows. You know, we hit low was $1.79 if you're looking to buy any more. And right here per CoinMarketCap, you can see a high hit on what was that July 22nd of $3.55. Pretty dramatic move up and down, but the net was 15% down. And if you also kind of take a look at the overall markets, this is very interesting. So if you look at 2025 performance, and this is comparing everything like...
So silver, gold, Cooper, S&P, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins down. Obviously, retail is gone. Altcoins were destroyed. Very, very worrying. Like, silver and gold is up. I would never expect that. S&P up compared to Ethereum.
Down 12%. 2020.
But then you see like Ethereum being up overall, like on the other markets.
And they did not return in 25. It was institutional demand, institutional dollars that kept crypto really kind of up at least a certain level, right? Beyond that, it was, I mean, XRP and all of crypto continued to get body blows, if you will, kind of thinking of a fight, body blows all year. You know, we had the...
Yeah. So we got one huge rally in 2024 and then just downtrend. Since July, downtrend after downtrend.
Beginning of 25, the tariff, the trade wars, and all of the different tariff scenarios played out, and all the fear and uncertainty around that. Us versus China, us versus the world as far as tariffs went. We had the continued Russia-Ukraine war. I think that's there. We had you know, financial uncertainty around the Bank of Japan. We had a lot of things play out related to the Federal Reserve interest rate. What's going to happen there or not? Are they going to raise the rate, lower the rate, do nothing? All of the oscillation around that. We had government shutdown. That was dramatic. That impacted us, and all of the fallout from that. And we continue to have other things, the pushing of the Genius Clarity Act. Ironically, it was a very good year as it relates to starting to put legislation in place and starting to clear the path for institutional demand and institutions to be able to A, leverage blockchain technology, but B, to be able to start to invest in it, and C, for the, you know, the financial powerhouses of the world like Bank of America and Fidelity and so forth, to go out and start to talk about, you know, investing in crypto, you know, to their clients, right? And that's good news, okay? But overall, again, not a good year. Bitcoin down 6%, Ethereum down 12%, and all major altcoins.
This is very worrying. This is the part that's very worrying. It seems like that we just had bad news after bad news when we were expecting like a huge bull run rally. And yet here we are, right?
Ultimately, I think that is really where I'm going to end on. I'm going to end on that note. I'm going to say, look, I think that 26 is going to be a fantastic year for XRP, for all altcoins, and for all crypto. I think we're going to see Bitcoin go to 150 to 200,000. We're going to see XRP break its all-time high, go north of $4, $5, $6, $7, $8+ or more, right? Okay. And I think ultimately that's really what it comes down to. Is there going to be trials and tribulations in 26? Absolutely. There's going to be issues out there that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to face. But I think I'll remind you of this. The world is coming to crypto. From an investment scenario, the world's coming. From leveraging technology like Ripple's XRP technology, the world's coming.
This is true. This is what I like to see. The technology is still there, but the markets, well, they're bearish. You can see the markets 1.15% up on 2bit. Guys, you can join me in the link in the description below right now. So we made all the money back that we lost today from fees, from reversals, from bad trades. We literally open a trading bot, and that's what we do right now. It seems like it will go even further. Patience is key. I might close it out later because I feel like it's going to be at the bottom. But who knows? It could be possible that it goes a bit lower.
If you look at different types of cryptos out there like Chainlink and Ripple,
yeah.
I mean, they solve legitimate, business problems. And there's time and time again where you see companies are going to want to be leveraging blockchain technology. Not to mention, as far as specifically to XRP and Ripple, it's the replacement of the existing archaic banking financial system. And that is not a small feat and a small task. I did a video on this yesterday talking specifically about this. It's a huge opportunity for us as XRP holders. And ultimately, that's where I'm going to end up at. So with that, 26 is looking really, really good in my opinion. If you disagree or what have you, drop in the comments below. Let me hear from you. With that, I'll see you. Have a good one. Take care.
Think of each one of them as
Overall,
DCA and
crypto.
spring. As a spring. Exactly. This is tomorrow I'm going to build a perfect bot. I want to take my time, build a perfect bot, not start this one like the neutral, and do that. And actually build something nice, like with lots of value. Even a short bot. I'm just unsure of keeping this overnight because you never know if the XRP might bounce back like overnight. It could bounce back overnight. I think this one that I have open right now is very short term. That's what I like to see. It's good to see it hovering about 1.5%. I'll take that. I'll take that as a win today, potentially. We go on here and we try to open another trading bot like properly. That's what I want to do. I want to take a proper trading bot that I can build, that I can make, like, for example, I could put $70 and then go lowest price on 2bit. So let me see. It's already stopping. It already gave me my money back. But let's see. The lowest price is 1.87. We can also use an AI strategy over here on 2bit. So want to join me, link in the description. That's the difference between the custom and cookie cutter. Cookie cutter. This is the thing. You have the custom is like making a custom XRP trading bot is like eating really good food and then adding like this recommended strategy is kind of like eating fast food. Yes, you get full, but ideally you want to make you want to make yourself healthy food long form, understand how the market works. That's why I'm making these trades. That's my plan right now. I'd rather get proper sleep, proper rest, and then see what happens with XRP. I'll keep you guys updated. Much love, Sambusho. Much love, everyone. Smash that like button, guys. And yeah, tomorrow we're going to be live because we're live daily. I was live for 2 hours already. If you want, smash that like button or join my trading challenge in link in the description below. That's how you guys can thank me. I really appreciate you all, guys. And tomorrow we're going to be building a proper trading bot that can actually get us some unrealized gains, which can be risky. But again, if you're smart about it, look, it dropped even further. I'm really, really excited. So yeah, that's something we're doing, an XRP trading competition in the description below as well. So we are giving XRP out. We partnered up with an exchange. So if you guys are interested, smash that like. Love you guys. Thank you so much.